Hey there, my name is Ron Gilak, and I want to welcome you to the webinar today. Today we're going to be talking about cross recruiting and network marketing and MLM, and what is it? How does it work? Is it illegal? Is it unethical? How do you kind of protect yourself and your team about this, team from this? And also we're going to look at this from a biblical perspective. How do you handle this kind of dilemma in our industry? What's the right thing to do? There's things that are legal, but may not be ethically sound to take action on. So again, if you're just new to some of my videos, some of my trainings, my name is Ron Gilak III. I've been a professional network marketer since 2009. I built the business online and offline. I've been a top recruiter, top income earner in several different companies. And today I just want to cut this training video to raise the bar, or raise the really the level of excellence in our industry, and just provide some value to you who may be watching this video today. So let's go ahead and dive in. First, let me kind of preface this by saying, like, the reason I wanted to cut this video today, do this training on cross recruiting, is I've experienced this inside of one of my teams several times this year, and I had like just a little instance of this in the past 24 hours in an affiliate program of someone switching sponsors from me to someone else. And normally this thing doesn't and shouldn't really affect you or affect you as a leader, but I saw myself losing some of my power here and actually getting frustrated about one person leaving the team, which was really odd for me. So I figured, if that's happening to me, and I've been in the game for a while, it's definitely happened to others as well. So also say, like, I am not an attorney or someone that should be giving legal advice. So this is just my understanding of cross recruiting, and don't quote me on this exactly, but this is my understanding. So cross recruiting in a network marketing company is illegal and an unethical activity that occurs way too often in our industry. And it's really when a distributor uses contacts that he or she develops while working at one MLM company to solicit distributors to join a competing company. The Uniform Trade Secrets Act strictly prohibits this kind of activity, but it still doesn't stop it from happening. And there are some exceptions to this rule. And if you want to learn more about this topic, I would encourage you to go to networkmarketinglaw.com. And there's also another great site, MLMwatchdog.com, which regularly even reviews case rulings and pyramid scheme rulings as well. Even though network marketing is not a pyramid scheme, it often gets attacked and tried to put into that, but not what today's video about. So the exceptions to this law, to this rule, is that a distributor may usually solicit their own personal recruits. So if I have sponsored, Joey, Tommy, and Mary, and I'm deciding to go to a new company, my understanding is that it's okay for me to say to Joey, Tommy, and Mary, like, hey, I'm going to this new company. Do you want to come with me? Right? It is not okay for me to go to Joey, Tommy's, and Mary's downline and approach any of them and say, hey, Mary's downline, I'm going to this company over here. Come along with me. That's a big no-no, right? That is definitely cross recruiting. So, for example, if Amy is a distributor of XYZ company and she knows Betty from her church group, and she recruits Betty to join XYZ company as a distributor, then Betty is a personal recruit. If Amy leaves XYZ company and becomes a distributor for Acme company, then she can solicit Betty to join this new opportunity with her. However, if Betty recruits her cousin Charlie to join XYZ company, and Betty introduces Charlie to Amy in connection with the XYZ company, then Amy cannot recruit Charlie to join the Acme company because Charlie is not a personal recruit of Amy's. That said, if Amy recruits Betty to join the Acme company, then Betty can go ahead and solicit her cousin Charlie to also join this new opportunity, because Charlie is a personal recruit of Betty. So, hope that's clear. Hope that's not too confusing. The truth is that cross recruiting and going from different companies can get messy and ugly pretty fast. I've had several instances where, if you're doing some online network marketing, one of the things that you can do, if your company's okay with it, is build multiple opportunities. So if you learn how to market online, it's something you can do, which is something that I do. Now, if that's something you're doing, I always advise people and try to say, hey, keep your team separate from this business over here. They shouldn't interact and intermingle and have same leaders in the same company. It's like it just doesn't seem right to me to be putting the same people into multiple opportunities. Building one is really hard enough, and if you haven't had that down and built it to a place where it can grow without you, it doesn't make sense to be doing more than one thing. So I always have that caveat there. So my kind of key is this: if I'm going to move to a new company and just like totally close the door on that, I'd actually kind of prefer that the people that I've sponsored and introduced just stay where they're happy and making money and do their thing over there. If I'm going to go and do something new and start over from ground zero, that's my decision. So I'll let my personal recruits know, but that's about it, because I don't want to be supporting people in a company that I'm no longer affiliated with. So I'm just going to let them know that's what I'm doing. But I try not to solicit my existing team to come on over. I don't like the whole idea of jumping, and it's not something that I've even done. I've been a part of 3 network marketing companies. I've only joined 2. One was a merger. So that's as far as building a downline and a distributorship. So I try not to jump and do that. So how do you handle cross recruiting, and how do you protect yourself against cross recruiting? So first, let me tell you, I have a story I do want to share with you, but so yeah, let me share a story with you. So earlier this year, I had a great team in a company that I won't say the name of, and and we were doing very, very well. In our last annual event, I think we had the 2nd largest team present at the event. So it was just really fantastic. Really love those guys. Great team. However, during the months following our annual convention, I had one of my best distributors leave and decide to go to a different company. Just picked up and left. Totally okay. More power to you. Not exactly sure still why he left. He was actually one of the highest income earners in our team. And this gentleman was putting in about 100 on some months, about 100 people personally a month. The guy was just an animal, a beast. So to say the very least, I was sad to see him go, not only because of the income, but his leadership and just the person that he was, that brought that kind of value at multiple levels to the team. So we lost a strong leader there. And he was not one of my personal recruits. He was, another person's personal recruit, and he was enticed to go to another company, and that's what happened. That's fine. Now, we could have gotten all bent out of shape, and because of that production, you're relying on income that's coming from that into your business. When somebody just gets enticed and goes to the next shiny thing over here, you lose out on some finances and some leadership, and that's going to normally cause you. The initial reaction is some pain, some frustration, and to grab hold and to try to control that or stop that from happening. Like, what's going to happen to me now? what's going to happen to my family or to my business? I'm losing out on a chunk of change. I'm losing out on money. And that's the initial thing, right? And I'll tell you how I handled that in a moment. But first, in this same business that I was a part of, I definitely had some serious cross recruiting on. My second best leader in my company was one of my personal recruits, and the guy is just a beast. We're still great friends today, and I love him to death. And he's recruited a lot of the major leaders on my team, or yeah, on my team, and is a great internet marketer as well. And he was approached by another gentleman inside of our same company, and enticed him to come and merge his team on over to his team in a new venture that the company was splitting off into. So going to an existing member inside of your company and telling them to switch teams inside of the company is highly illegal, unethical, immoral, a lot of things on multiple levels. It's just flat out wrong. Sorry guys, my friend, if you're watching this video, I hope I'm not offending you. I have no hard feelings towards you, and I genuinely care and love you. But the reality is that that's kind of a big no-no, to be switching teams inside of the same company. So after talking to my sponsor and submitting a support ticket and contacting corporate and finding out the company was not going to do anything and was okay with it, even though it went across their written guidelines and their written rules on their website and company policy. If the company is not willing to kind of fix something like that is happening strictly against the rules there, it's not something that I would encourage you to be associated with or want to continue to build there, because the truth is that that's probably going to happen again inside of the company. So how I handled that situation with those two leaders, is I ended up canceling my membership and my distributorship, letting my team know where I was going and that I was not going to be leading there any longer. And that was a very painful and tough decision, but it's more about your integrity. It's more about who you are as a person, and the values that you stand for and have. When these kind of things happen, that's when you're testing in your faith, and you find out what you're really made of in the face of adversity, in the face of trials, and in your storms, your fires, so to speak. So I went ahead and I canceled my distributorship and my membership. I even walked away from my residual check, which was very nice. It's the largest check I've built to date, and I just walked away next month. As that dwindled, I think I had like 45-day or 60-day period where I was still getting paid after that until it went to zero. So that's kind of how I handled that approach, is just cut ties with the company once the company said, hey, we're not going to do anything, and that's okay. If cross recruiting is okay in your company, it's probably not something that's safe or sustainable for you long time, because you can lose out your income, you can lose out your distributorship and the team, the downline that you've been pouring into and investing into. You can lose it like that overnight. Not very secure. Some people might even argue if that's okay in your company. A job might even be, I didn't mean to laugh there, but a job might even be more sustainable, more safer for you. So now I'll show you too how you can actually protect against cross recruiting, and then I'm going to show you the biblical truths on how to handle this kind of stuff. And this last part that I'll show you, the biblical truths, is really where the power is found, and really the mentality that you want to adopt to keep your power, to keep your peace, and be able to move forward and not get taken out of the game. Because this stuff has happened to me before. It just happened to me again in the past 48 hours with one individual, and I'll show you how to handle this so you're able to keep your income going, keep your team growing, and then also keep your peace of mind as well. So how do you protect against cross cross recruiting. Because I'll tell you, when this stuff happened, our entire team did not go and merge over. Some leaders did, but the vast majority stayed in the existing company. And I think that's because of 3 reasons that we have developed inside of our team. So here are 3 reasons on how to protect against cross recruiting. Number one, first, the reality is that you cannot and should not ever control people. No one likes to be controlled, but they do like to be led by a strong leader. So here are 3 steps that you can take to start initiating stronger leadership in your team and prevent and protect against cross recruiting. Step number 1 is, from the very beginning, be focused on getting your representatives, your distributors, results and having a great relationship with you. When someone starts in your business, you need to start them immediately and show them what actions to take as fast as possible, right? Get them on the field, get in their jersey dirty, and take an action immediately. Then, as their new distributors come on board, their new customers, dive into their networks as well. Start tap rooting, right? Start diving in there as fast as you can to make sure that they're going to have some success and get a little bit of a sustainable income growing. Belief happens a lot when you start experiencing the fruits of it. It's better to absolutely believe before you see any fruits, but for the person that's not there yet, get them having results so they can buy into the vision and belief right away. That's step number 1. And you do this to really develop belief and confidence in your new distributor and the business decision they've just made with you. Step number 2 is develop a small team, big love mentality, a culture that bonds you as a team together. So this is done by regular get-togethers, team calls, contests, team incentive trips. Yes, even incentive trips that are not sponsored by your company. You go ahead as a leader and create some opportunities, create some incentive trips for your team, things that are going to bond you together. And I always try to drive or lead the culture of results, results-driven kind of stuff. Not everybody gets to go on the trip, because I want people producing. I want that part of our culture is that where results, where results are measured and rewarded and acknowledged. You can do large events like team parties and hangouts online and have your Facebook groups and live webinar hangouts like the one I'm doing tonight or this evening. Actually, it's still morning, sorry. This morning, and have everybody come, right? But as far as like incentive trips and like big events, like putting your team in like a limo and we're all going, we're all going out to dinner at this place, or we're all going to this event as a team kind of thing. That is something that is earned. So this is also kind of mentality with this. Is create an environment where people are celebrated, not just tolerated, right? People want to go where they're going to feel good, where they're going to feel loved, where they're going to feel appreciated. So in this developing a small team mentality, big love atmosphere, right? I personally believe that you must genuinely care for people and love people, and to be in this industry, you really got to be focused on serving others and not serving yourself. The income that is produced is simply a byproduct of great leadership, great recruiting, and great selling of products. And that all stems with you and how you lead and how you treat people. So develop, you want to grow a big team, but so don't get me confused here when I say small team mentality, like closeness, bondness, tight niche there. Small team mentality, big love culture, right? Step number 3 to protect against cross recruiting. Step number 3 is always be recruiting and developing new leaders. The reality is that you're always going to have team members and leaders that come and that go. It's just the nature of our industry. So while cross recruiting may be unethical and illegal, it is going to happen and people will get away with it, as much as I hate to say that. So your best protection against cross recruiting is not to maintain or to squeeze or to manage the existing team and corral them in around you and be focused on that. But your best protection against this is to simply go out and recruit more, and to lead by example of how you're developing and treating other people, right? So you're going to be focused on always recruiting more leaders and looking for that person that you can really speak life and vision into and help them grow a business. Your payoff is to help people build and change their lives. The income and the other stuff and the incentive trips is a byproduct of you doing that very well, right? So those are kind of the three ways that I encourage you to develop against cross recruiting. So having that culture, the small team, the big love, is going to create a lot of loyalty and a lot of closeness together. People love to feel like they're part of something. And step number one, you're demonstrating firsthand, like, hey, I'm here to help you and support you, and come under my wing, follow my lead, and we're gonna do this together, right? And number three is, you're always leading by example. When people leave your team, your team needs to see that, and this is a biblical principle as well, your team needs to see that you're not shaken, that you're not moved by what just happened to you, and that you're going to continue to stay and build if a leader happens to leave, and you do that so the rest of the team is not shaken or drinks the new Kool-Aid from the guy who just left. So now I really want to give you some biblical truths on this, and at the end of these truths, I'm also going to give you a web link here that you can actually constantly be recruiting and attracting new leadership into your team. The fastest way to always grow a network marketing business is to attract leaders, right? And I'm not saying that like leaders as like just another like network marketing word that people throw around, but people who genuinely want to build and dive deep in your business. You want to attract the right kind of people, not everyone. So I'm going to give you a link on another training that I have that is going to show you how to recruit specifically leaders into your business. So let's dive into the biblical principles first, because that's going to set you up for this training as well. Okay, so first, when any of this happens, if you have experienced cross recruiting in your business, you understand how painful it is. It's really freaking tough. So the first thing for me was, what's going to happen to me? Am I going to be okay? Is my family going to be okay with me losing out on this income and this growth in this business? My first concern was for me, and I'm just being honest here. So I found this verse that really ministers to me, even to me today, and other things that happen in life. And it says in Psalm 138:8, the Lord will fulfill his purpose for me. Your steadfast love, O Lord, endures forever. Do not forsake the work of your hands. Another way of saying this, and other versions say that the Lord will perfect all that concerneth you, right? So all of your worries, all of the things that come alongside of this, you need to trust God that he's going to be taking care of you. In Jeremiah 29:11, it says, the Lord has a plan to prosper you and not to harm you, but to give you a hope and a future. So if his word and these biblical principles are the truth that I choose to accept and believe, and it is what I do, regardless of who comes on my team or who leaves the team, I know that I'm still going to be taken care of. I'm still going to be provided for, because my God is provision, and I am in him. He is in me, and I am in provision. Hope that makes sense. So knowing that you're always going to be taken care of, no matter what things look like, in our natural. You never know how God's going to choose to prosper you and take care of you next. The cool thing about that is, after leaving that company, I actually had my 2 best months to date, my 2 highest income months from other things I have going on, other sources of money that are coming in. Even though I just walked away from my highest paying opportunity, my highest paying network marketing company, I had my 2 best months in a row following that. Just crazy. So thank you, Lord. So the other thing is this, like, you may be experiencing some pain. It's a lot of pain with the person that you've developed a friendship with, or the person that you have really spoken life into and helped develop as a leader. So you're feeling some anger, maybe even some hate, some just real hard time towards that person. So the Bible teaches us how to handle this as well. And I'll tell you, the gentleman that did leave our team, I still have great relationships with them. I still have friendships with them. I'm happy to get on the phone with them anytime and just shoot the breeze with them. And I think this is because of the way that I handled them leaving the team. So in Matthew 5, 43 through 48, it says this: you have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor, your fellow man, and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love that is unselfishly seek the best or the higher good for your enemies, and pray for those who persecute you, so that you may show yourselves to be the children of your Father who is in heaven. For he makes his sun rise on those who are evil and on those who are good, and he makes the rain fall on the righteous and those who are morally upright, and the unrighteous, the unrepentant, those who oppose him. For if you love only those who love you, what reward do you have? Do not even the tax collectors do that? And even if you greet only your brothers, wishing them God's blessing and peace, what more than others are you doing? Do not even the Gentiles, in other words, those who do not know the Lord, do that? You therefore will be perfect, growing in spiritual maturity, both in mind and character, actively integrating godly values into your daily life, as your heavenly Father is perfect. Right? So when these gentlemen left our team, what I did is I told them, like, hey, I'm not happy about you leaving, but I do respect your decision. In fact, I wish you the best. I hope this move is great for you. I hope that you're going to experience tremendous growth. I'm going to be praying that your business prospers. I'm going to be praying that you feel more confident, that you feel more secure in your move, and that you're at rest, that you're at peace. Like, I just pray like the best things for them. I let them know like how excited I am for their new move. I wish that they weren't making it. Right? I wish they were staying here, but I understand, like, this is the decision that you're making. I can't control you. I just have to love you, right? And treat you as how I would want to be treated in this, and love that person. And I think doing that, I saved our friendship. I saved our relationships. And then I had I don't know how this happened, but I had 2 incredible months following these guys leaving the team, right? So the key part here is to pray for those that hurt you, and love them regardless of what their decision is, because it's not about them being able to produce money for you, or you earning money off them. It's not that at all. So here's the deal with this, and why you want to have this mentality as well. In Matthew, the book of Matthew, chapter 6, just the next chapter over, it talks about, this is a great chapter. It talks about fasting, the true treasure, talks about wealth, giving to the poor, prayer, and even the cure for anxiety in verse 25. But here's the part I want to focus on. Matthew chapter 6, verse 19 says, do not store up for yourselves material treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where, this is the verse right here, for where your treasure is, there your heart, your wishes, your desires, that on which your life centers will be also. For where your treasure is, there your heart, your wishes, your desire, that on which your life centers will be also. Right? So focus on on this here is what you're treasuring and what you're valuing the income, the money that was being produced, because that can be taken away in a second, as you saw it was for me in this cross recruiting. Or are you more focused on this person and sharing, showing your light, or sharing the message of Christ in your business? If you follow me for some time, you know I'm a subscriber to the kind of the belief that the marketplace is also your mission field, right? And you know, God and Jesus is not just reserved for church on Sunday mornings, but you should be taking him and living that way in your business, in all things that you do. So again, that verse was Matthew chapter 6, verses 19 through 21. Just be conscious of really what's motivating you, what's driving you, what's leading you. No, is it just a chunk of change, a chunk of money? Because that's never going to fulfill you. That's never going to bring you satisfaction. You know, having a great income, because there's always more that you can make. It's always more. You know, it's like pouring water into a leaky bucket. There's always more money that you can make, and that's never going to fill you up or bring you contentment. But helping point others to the Father God in your business, that really brings a lot of fulfillment. That fills you up, and just keeping your peace there, and going to these truths in your relationship with your Father here is going to keep you at peace. It's going to keep you sound, even when people are leaving your team, even when the checks are not coming in. You need to make sure that you're at peace in your mind. You know, Paul talks about being content at all times, with like whatever is happening to him. And he actually wrote that when he was in prison. It doesn't mean that you're okay with mediocrity and living a mediocre life. I think we're here to prosper, you know, and live lives abundantly. But you need to be okay with where you are and what is happening, and trust God that he's going to provide for you and take care of you and take you from glory to glory, right? So I want to share one last thing with you, and then I'll give you that link to start recruiting more leaders into your business. So I'm not going to read this whole thing, but you can read about this in John chapter 6. So the story is this: that Jesus and the disciples were over by the Sea of Galilee, and there was a large crowd gathering around him, a large crowd that was gathering around him. And all these people were listening to him, and it was said to him, like, hey, you know, Jesus, how are we going to feed all these people? We don't have enough to take care of these people, you know. And you know, it would have cost them a small fortune, about 200 days worth of work, is my understanding, to really pay for all these people to eat. So what I love about this story is Jesus said, you know, have the people sit down, like, don't worry about it. There's a little boy here who has 5 barley loaves and two fish, right? Now, the number of people that were here were about 5,000 people that were here. You know, like that's a big downline there. But 5,000 people were there. And so Jesus went ahead and he actually performed a miracle here. And you know, he prayed over the food. He gave thanks for what they had. He was thankful and gave thanks for the little amount of food that they did have. And the miracle happens is that the disciples went ahead and started distributing the loaves and the fish to the crowd. And the miracle happens is that everyone had enough to eat. Everyone was full, and they even had so much that they gathered up leftover pieces. After it up, they gathered up so much that they filled 12 large baskets with pieces of food, and 5 barley loaves were left over by those who had not eaten. And this is the people saw this miracle that he had done, and began saying, like, you know, no doubt this is you know who Jesus is that he said. So I shared this story with you to just illustrate this, that regardless of what's left in your team after cross recruiting has taken place, or the little that you have, be thankful for that, because you never know how God's going to prosper you. You never know what that's going to happen, or somebody can just bring on a new big leader, somebody that's been experienced like 20 years in the industry, and just goes to work and builds and just builds and builds and explodes your business. You never know when that's going to happen. And if it can happen with a small boy, and Jesus just blessing this, that feeds 5,000 people, right, or feeds 5,000 families here in this little area, why couldn't that happen to you? The Bible says that his love is not any more for me than it is for you. He loves all his children the same, that he has no respecter of persons, time, or place, right? We can't earn, his blessing or his love. It's given to us freely by his grace, right? It's just a powerful message, and it's a great business lesson for us here to be thankful for what we have and just trust God for his provision and the multiplication factor that's going to take place in this miracle, but can also very, very parallelly illustrated in the network marketing model, where this is constantly taking place, this duplication, this multiplication, this exponential growth factor that's always happening in our businesses. So I hope today's training on how to handle cross recruiting, what is cross recruiting, and how do you handle the relationships with this has been of value to you. I also just want to leave you with this before I give you that link. Sometimes it's just not worth it to try to fight the whole cross recruiting battle. You're really expelling a lot of negative energy. It's messing with your like your mojo, if you will. And really, your time is best spent on being thankful for what you do have and going out and to build something else, build something more, be the leader that that you are, and just continue to move forward. Bless that person, wish them the best. But if you had a team of 100,000 people, I do not. If you had a team of 100,000 people, or an income that whether 5,000, 10,000 people left, it didn't matter. Your income really wasn't affected that much. How would you react? How would you be feeling? How would this affect you if you were already playing at this level? Well, the answer is that it really wouldn't. And if your goal is to go to that kind of level and be that excellence and that high level of a servant leader in our industry, you need to start acting as if you're there already now. Treat people the way that you would treat them when you are at that level. Step into that, right? Adopt that mentality, adopt that belief now, and your results are going to follow your belief, because your actions are going to follow what you're believing, what you're thinking as well. So I really hope that this brought you a lot of value and maybe answered some questions or alleviated some stress if you might be going through this dilemma of cross recruiting right now. If you got some value here today, please do me a favor, leave a comment below. Either share your story, your opinion, or your thoughts on cross recruiting. Maybe you don't agree with me, and that's okay too. You just let us know in the comment section below here, and that link on how you can consistently attract and recruit more leaders is directly under this video in the video description here below. If you're reading this on my blog, I'll put the link right directly below this video. I want to encourage you to go ahead and watch that free training and learn exactly how to recruit more leaders and more distributors into your business. My name is Ron Gielach. I'm a Christ-centered business coach and network marketer, empowering you to prosper, making an awesome day, and I'll see you on the next video or in one of my future emails. God bless. Have an awesome one.